Right, so we're looking at the Separator Venturi here. It's 1.2mm 316 stainless, 6mm flanges, all dimensions below outside. Once again, we've got some pretty weird dimensions to work with. So I've got this 45 down here off the flat to the center line of this cone, and we've got like a invisible point where that cone would finish if it was going to right to a point. This one's 200 OD, and down here we have 400 OD. So let's get going on this one. So I'll do a new sheet metal. And I'm going to start a sketch, and I'm just going to do 2 circles for now. So I'll do one at 200 from the origin there, and I will drag one out over here as well at 400. So that's for the branch. And you can see my views around that way, so I'm just going to make sure we've got a vertical constraint here. And I'll give it a dimension of 500. That's how far apart they are. Right, so that's that one. Now what I need to do is draw in some side view here. So I'll start a sketch on the plane that's crossing that one, and I'll project the geometry of what I've just done, because I may need that. And what I'm going to do is put on construction line. I'm going to draw a line straight up on that origin at 600. That's the length of the main tube there on that drawing. And I'm going to draw a line from the center of this circle. I'm going to draw it just up to that line there. Now I'm going to put 45 degrees on that. And what I can do from here is I can put another line starting at the end of that one, and I'll just finish it about there. I'll make sure that it's parallel to this one here, which it is now. And let's put in that 848.5 dimension. And we'll just double check that with the drawing. Yeah, 848.5. And we got that 500 there. Let's go back to it. Now what I need to do is I need to draw some lines in here to the edges of the circle. And the easiest way I found of doing this one is just do a line across this plane here, make sure it's horizontal with the where it meets that point there. And I'll just double check what's going on. So I need to make that horizontal there. Might be in the wrong view. Let's try this. There you go. So vertical, using a vertical constraint. Depends what way around you put it. So anyway, so we've got that. And then what I'm going to do, go finish sketch here. And I want to build a plane around that top angle there. So I'll go angle to plane around edge, and I'll grab that. And I'll just come over here and highlight the plane there. And what I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to put some points on the end of those lines. Now I'll do a sketch on that plane. So this is like a, because I've got these these lines here, if I do two parallel planes, I can just do two circles, then I can loft a flange between those two. Go project geometry, project those points. And we'll do a circle from the center out to one of those points. You can see it meets both of them. And we'll go finish sketch on that. Now I will turn that one off. And we'll do a plane on the end here. So I can use this feature normal to axis through point. So there's our axis, there's our point. Start a sketch on that one. And I'm gonna put in a 200 diameter circle up here. I could project it, but sometimes it doesn't work that well when you project in sheet metal. And let's just turn that off. Right, so there's our basic surfaces. So what I'm going to do is just check the default sheet metal up there and put in 1.2. Caps lock off. Now, what I will do from here is I'm going to go to a lofted flange and go here to here. And I'll just zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Go to a die-formed and internal, because we're using external measurements like that. And yep, okay, that's good. So we've got that branch there. So now I need to do a cut down this way to where it would meet the trunk. So I'll grab that cut and that profile, and I'll just go all, and it'll go down hopefully, yep. And here we go, so now we've got that cut. So now what we can do from there is we can turn that original sketch back on, and we can do another lofted flange. We'll make sure we put it as a new solid though. And there's your profile 1, there's your profile 2, die formed again, make sure it's going inside the line, like that, and new solid, yep. Okay, now so we've got that main tube as well. Now what I need to do is I'm going to turn off that sketch and that sketch, so it's easy to see. I'm going to turn off that one as well, and I'm going to go find that little plane I had that circle on up here. So let's have a look for that. The under one of these, not that one. There it is there. And I want to turn that sketch back on as well. So there's that one. So what I actually want to do here is I want to start a new sketch on this plane. And I want to offset this. I want to project the geometry first, project that. I want an offset from that of 1.2 millimeters. Just like that. Now I'll turn everything off again so I don't have to be confused by it. And that sketch there. Now I've just got that one that I've just done, which is 1.2 millimeters in from that original one. And I want to do a new sketch on the plane that was along the base of this thing, so that one there. And what I can do here is I can do a bit of a project geometry. go this edge, and I'm just going to draw a circle. Well, actually, I'll go for an offset. That one of 1.2 again, and I'll go finish that. Now, what I want to do is go into 3D model space and do a loft. Move that to the side. So the solids we want to loft through is this one here. And the sections we want to click on this in this box here and grab this round bit and highlight the center. And then the next one we want to do, click to add. Now this can be a bit tricky, so we want to make sure we're grabbing the sketch, not the edge of the part. Like that. And now we should better go for a cut loft like that. And okay, so now we've got our hole, we've got the branch meeting up at the side there like that. And so I'm just going to turn a few things off again to make it easier to see. Collapse this, keep it nice and tidy. Right, so now we've got our main shape. So now what we can do is we can start a new sketch, and we can probably do it on this edge here. There we go. And project geometry, let's project the inside of this piece. And we'll do another circle from here. And if we look at the drawing, it says 250 OD. So let's do that 250. And we have 12 4mm holes at 225 PCD. So I'm just going to do a construction line circle 225, and I'll do a circle. I'll take it off construction for this one, and that's a 12mm. Now I can see it's not quite constrained yet, so let's just have a look at why that is. We can move it around probably, I'm guessing. Right, so I'll constrain it probably going to be vertically, so I'll go to this point and that point. Good. We'll go a circular pattern, click that, select the circle and the midpoint there, and we can just go 12. And I'll just double check that. So there's 12 4mm holes. Okay, so I'll do just back out because that's only a 4mm hole. And let's go circular again. This thing about here, and 12 of them. Just like that. Finish the sketch, and let's just zoom out a wee bit. Go to extrude. Make sure you get all of it, the inside as well there. And those were 6mm thick flanges there, so let's put that to 6. And let's make sure it's a new solid, so it's not attached to it. And there we go, so we've got the top flange. And the bottom flange will be the same, so let's start a sketch on the bottom. And we'll just project the geometry of that whole flange up there. Now we can just extrude that, same as before, 6mm, new solid, all good. Now the last flange. So what we'll do is we'll start sketch, but we won't select this edge because it's sheet metal will be like slightly tapered. Obviously, like you're not going to cut and on an angle all the way around that. So let's bring out the plane that it sits on, that one there. And we can project the geometry onto it, like so. Now we need to do a circle at 450. And because it's projected the outside there, we need to do an offset circle here at 1.2. So that'll mean that the it'll sit on top of that flange. Now, same thing as before, we've got 12 4mm holes at 424 PCD. So just down there, 12 4mm holes, 424 PCD. So let's put in a construction circle there. .424, and take it off construction to another circle at 4mm, and we'll just make sure we're constrained to the line here. So I'm going to go vertical because I think it's around that way. There we go, and circular that feature, that axis, 12 of them. There's our holes and everything. Go finish sketch here, and we can extrude this, but we also want to grab that inside part as well, and 6mm down. So we need to flip the other way. That's a bit better. New solid, okay. So there's all the parts. So another thing we can do now is go up to File, I Properties here, and Physical. We can change it to stainless steel. Just go generic stainless steel there. So there you go, it looks a bit better like that. And now we can go up to Manage and Make Components. So first we've got to save it, so let's save it. Save it as a Separator, Venturi. Let's go to Make Components. And we'll go standard millimeter IAM there. Now we need to grab all the parts, so let's grab all 5 parts there. Next. So template, just so standard millimeter, sheet metal millimeter, sorry. Like that. And we could go for and name them. Doesn't really matter for what we're doing here. So I'll go apply for that. Right, now let's close out of that one. Now I've got the assembly and the single part file. So we'll close the single part file, we don't need that. Make sure you save it as you go. Right, first thing I always do with these is I go to View, Shaded with Edges to make it easier to see. And what I want to do is I want to double click on this part. What we want to do here is just put a seam on this one. So what I can do is we can get a point, and we can also highlight some of these origins. So let's highlight the one that's going down the middle, that one there. So let's go to point. Highlight that one, and we should better come to the edge there, and it'll make a wee point for us. Now we should better go rip, just like that. And I'm just going to put this at, I think it has to be about 0.5 mil. Now what we should be able to do, now we put a rip in it, is turn that point off. Should be able to create a flat pattern for this one. So there you go, there's your flat pattern there. And go to the folded part again, and here it is. So we'll save that. I'll close this again. You can see it's got that rip down the middle there. Good. And this one here, I'm going to do the seam down the face, probably down this back face, I think. I don't really want a seam running through that complicated area, so let's just do the same thing. So we've got that bit there, that bit there, that bit there. So double click on that one, and we'll go to a point. We'll bring up the plane here. So I'm just going to turn it around so I can see it better. Yep. And outside of that circle, you can see it just makes a tiny wee point there. Let's go to rip, select that face and that point, and I'll do 0.5 mil again to keep it the same. And close out of there. Right, so that's ripped. Now I will turn the visibility of that point off just to tidy it up. And we should better create a flat pattern on that bit as well. So there you go, there's that bit there with the hole in it, ready for the branch and everything. On the drawing it has a height of 150 down to there, so we can check this pattern. There you go, so it's worked out to be at 150.9, and that is on the side that's not cut quite on an angle, you can see. So if we go to this side, it'll probably be even better. 150.003. So that worked out pretty well. Let's get back to flat pattern and we'll go to fold apart. Make sure you save it. Close out of that, and there you go. There you have your assembly. Seam down the back, seam on the inside, and that one's all finished, ready to be put onto paper space.